Every week, a new band. Brought to you by NZ On Air. Active Live! Yeah.
Fight the feeling! Only cause I hate it! No! Run! Only cause I hate it! No! Run! And I never died! And I won't try to hide it! Only cause I hate it! No! Run! Only cause I hate it! No! Run! Only cause I hate it! Only cause I hate it! Don't run! And I won't try to hide! Only cause I hate it! Only cause I hate it! Don't run! I stay in my slave! I'm trying to find a way! Now Lord, this place! And with my aching arms, I will carry you all the way. Cause no one really cares. Well, all that much for me, for you. I will carry you all the way. I will always be in the shade. No one really cares for us, but I will love you always.
Screams in Poneke, emo hardcore rise again. 3 hearts, 1 loud dream. I'm Charlotte, your host, and I'm excited to welcome Israel, Fletcher, and Will from Western Haikus, hence the haiku at the start, to today's Radioactive Live on 88.6 FM, brought to you by New Zealand On Air Music. How are you all doing today?
Good, thank you. Sweet as.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thanks for playing an awesome tune. I feel like for everyone listening out there for this live to air today, you're going to want to have the volume turned up high for this one, I think. Now, Western Haikus have made quite a name for themselves in the underground Poneke DIY music scene over the last year. The Screams trio has been busy playing a ton of shows, edging closer to making their goal of making emo hardcore again. Thanks so much again for coming
Emo is a
in.
gang, by the way.
Shall we jump into another track?
Yes.
So sick. Can you tell us a bit about that track?
So all of our tracks. Sorry, I'm really out of breath. All of our tracks are kind of named after bands we like, which is so lame.
Yeah, so they're all just working titles at the moment.
Gotcha.
But,
I reckon they'll stay the same on record probably.
Yeah.
But it's called Of Death, and it's ode to, I guess, early 2000s, kind of like sassy scrams music, emo gang. Again, there's a gang.
Yeah.
We don't have patches yet.
Nice. I feel like that's a cool, unique take. I haven't heard of any other bands naming their songs after bands they are inspired by, so it's actually kind of a cool idea, I think. And now, can you tell us and the listeners a bit about Western Haikus? How did you guys come to be, I guess, and get into playing this type of music and growing within the underground emo punk DIY scene?
Well, I think it was moving up to Wellington and then going to hardcore shows and bands like Happy Valley and other bands like that, and seeing bands like that and getting real into kind of that style of music. We called like Western Haikus after a title fight song, and I guess it all just kind of started just from just having jams with the homies, and then we started booking a practice slot, started practicing every week, and then it kind of came to be from there, and just like big thanks to the hardcore scene.
Nice. And because you all are involved in a few other bands and projects, so what kind of, I guess, was the key moment that made you decide to start Western Haikus? And is it like difficult juggling different projects?
Yeah, I guess only recently just joined another band, but for a long time.
Visions of Hell.
Yeah, Visions of Hell. We started other bands. What was the question again?
Oh yes. And Mudgoose.
Yeah.
Mudgoose. To Womson, shouts out. But I guess we all make our own like kind of emotional music in different ways, and we kind of all came together in a cohesive way with this project. We all found similarities between our things that we like, and it's all really passionate about the local scene and it developing with new ideas and such. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
No, it does. That's awesome. That's super cool to hear, more bands coming out of the underground DIY kind of scene. I feel like they're not as recognised, but it's nice to be able to have you guys here today and hear more about the other DIY bands. And since starting out, how would you guys say your music and sound has kind of progressed, like all together?
Yeah, we kind of started out as kind of like just like playing title fight riffs, more kind of like pop punky, kind of more like softer emo kind of stuff. But then yeah, I guess listening to more and more like
Violent stuff.
Yeah, violent stuff, especially with like the emo kind of violent stuff, just like Orchid and bands like that. And then we started off
with screaming as well.
Yeah. It's kind of started off like jamming like title fight stuff, and then we kind of like, I guess from there, all kind of collaborated on tracks a bit more, and then made it more hardcore kind of focused.
Yeah, sick. Because I was gonna say as well, like in the both songs, you've got that like heavy metal growl vocals as well, which is so sick. I mean, I don't know if I would ever thought of that being more into like emo music compared to like metal, but I guess it's quite a blurry genre thing. But how is it adding in vocals like that and to your voice too? Like that's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I feel like I mean, I again, we like all come from like different areas of music, I guess, but all kind of coalesced with our love for stuff like. I guess I was listening to a lot of death metal when I was 16, and I was like, I feel like this is the kind of music that 16-year-old me would froth over, which I kind of dig. Yeah, because you should feed into the things you liked when you were a child, because that's wholesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's quite a cool way to, I guess, get some anger and energy out by doing those vocals. It looks very intense, but I think it's so cool. And as well, we've kind of touched on it. You guys always say, or I've seen around, make emo hardcore again. And the whole, I guess, adding in the like death metal vocals kind of does make it a bit more hardcore. But can you delve into that phrase a little bit more? What does it mean to you, and are you achieving that goal?
We stole it. We stole that line.
Yeah, it's just like I guess like make emo hardcore again is like, I know, kind of like thinking about like the late 90s, early 2000s, kind of like emo bands where it's, you know, high energy and like lots of screaming and all that, compared to like,
and mosh.
I know, 2000s kind of like emo where it's maybe a little bit different, a little bit more commercialized and stuff like that. I guess it's just going against like kind of like the commercial emo music and just kind of like make it DIY, make it hardcore again. But yeah.
Because shout out 04 Hardcore.
Yeah.
And keeping the DIY spirit alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's
Start today.
Start today.
sick.
Shouts out.
That's so sick, and I feel like you're definitely reaching that, making emo hardcore again with a super sick sound. And so shall we get into another track? Nice. That was sick again with those vocals. Oh my gosh. Can you tell us a bit about that track? What was is that same goes with the band inspo?
Yeah, that one is. It's called Mortician.
Nice.
Because Mortician is one of the best death metal bands ever, I reckon. Every song is the same, and there's a drum machine, and it's got like the most absolutely filthy bass tone ever.
Yeah, they got the formula. They got it right.
Yeah, they got it right.
Right,
And,
that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's stupid as well. So.
I feel like that track definitely leans into the more death metal vibe, so I can see it. It sounds sick. And now when I'm listening to you guys, I can just picture a good old dirty gig at Valhalla with a great mosh happening. And you guys have been playing a bunch of shows, performing at an array of different venues and music scenes, from kind of noise rock to more hardcore shows. What's been some of your highlight shows in bands that you've especially enjoyed playing with?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Thousand Acre Plain. We put on a gig the other week at Valhalla with Ritual Heaps and Thousand Acre Plain, and that was great. Like, that was heaps of fun. And the gigs have been super cool. Just like feels like a big gathering of friends, and it's really good. I think one of the standouts for me was when we played in the car park on Brooklyn Hill.
Shout out Swamp Soul.
Yeah, shout out American Muscle as well. Played many lineups for them, and yeah, they're very cool. Cool people, cool music. Yeah.
Oh,
And as well, the Thistle Hall show was real awesome.
Yep.
The Start Today one with
Yeah.
Carthage. Yeah.
one of the best screamo bands in the country. Yeah, shout out Carthage.
Yeah.
That's so sick. I can just picture the moshes, and I must say I am one for a good mosh, so I think that sounds so cool. And now as well, it was recently announced that you'll be opening for Minui and playing Meow Nui for the first time ever, which is huge. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
How did you kind of land that gig?
Nepotism!
Well, my dad's in Minui, and they're getting back together.
Yeah.
And they're playing Wellington, and they asked if we would like to open. I'm really excited to share the stage with my dad, and really stoked to be able to play that one, and really stoked to see them play again. Used to see them play when I was a kid, of course, and yeah, really looking forward to it. It'll be heaps of fun, and I'm looking forward to checking out Meow Nui, seeing what that's all about.
Yeah, that is so cool. That's super, super exciting. It'll be such a fun show, so definitely to all the listeners, go and check that one out. And now you're also playing a show at Destroy Napier next weekend.
Yep.
That's also very sick. So lots coming up for you guys. How are you feeling about playing outside of Welly? New crowd, new people.
First time?
First
time for me.
Yeah, first time for me as well. I'm really excited. The people we played Waste Fest recently, and people from Postnatal Abortion asked if we wanted to come up and play, and we're super stoked, and the bands are super cool, and they're
Izzy's
really
other
lovely
band,
people.
Visions of Hell, is also playing. Shout out Visions of Hell.
We're so really excited for that one as well.
Yeah, that is very exciting. So a few gigs coming up. Now, can we expect any music released anytime soon?
Oh boy!
It's like a little bit top secret.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't be shared yet.
There is some. We're in safe hands. The person that is tracking us is in safe hands. You know?
We're trying to get something together at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. We can kind of expect something in the future, though.
Well, it's a Western Haikus 04 on Instagram, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, at Western Haikus 04.
There you go. To all the listeners, go check it out. Should we jump into another track?
You're an open place. All the faces been ripped out. What's left to find? When there's only one way out. Hey! God! Rain! Set to be! You're an open place! Hey! Hey! God! I won't believe all the faces that left out! No! David! No! Don't believe! I won't be!
Sick. Now, what is the backstory behind that track?
That one's called Open Book. It's like,
Not named after another band.
Ooh.
yeah, not named after another band, this one. It's like, if you're an open book, it's just like, you're an open book, and all your pages have been ripped out. It's kind of like the feeling of like having your heart on your, like wearing your heart on your sleeve, and it just kind of not being a good thing. Like people just taking advantage, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, there's one way out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Nice. Is that the only track with a name not after?
Nah. So we made an EP a while ago,
Yeah.
and we had like songs, and they were song names. That first track we played today, that one's Relationships Suck.
Wait, what's the full
yeah.
name again?
Relationships Suck When You Haven't Had One Before is the full name for that one. Yeah, and it's kind of, that's what it's about. But yeah.
Nice. And again, so we've mentioned how the listeners can find you on Instagram, and how else can they keep track of what you guys are up to, and if there's any music out there that they can listen to, or just the Insta.
Too underground.
Yeah, we don't have any music out. If you want to see us, you should come to one of our shows.
Or just hit up the band and we can leak it. I guess.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
some Google Drive. Some Google Drive goodies for sure.
Well, there you go, listeners. Go and check out Western Haikus, playing a bunch of shows in the future, so I'm sure you'll be able to catch them, which is super sick. Now, here at Radioactive, we do this thing where each Active Live, the band who played last week, has given us a question to pass on to you, and then you will let me know a question to pass on to the next week's Active Live. But your question for today is, what's the grossest gig you've ever played?
What do you mean by gross? Like,
I don't know. This is just word for word what the last band said, so interpret it how you wish.
cause gross in like a, yeah, maybe, but like gross in like a dirty way is kind of fun. But I'd probably say like Valhalla's up there, I guess. But that's like that's like a home base, you know.
Yeah.
But I also have I probably shouldn't say that. I don't want to talk crap about other promoters or anything. So that was probably the grossest one.
Okay, that's all good. Fair enough. And now, do you have a question for me to pass on to next week's Active Live?
Maybe what's your favorite venue in Wellington, or like favorite place you played?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, classic.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing their answer on that. there's quite a few good ones to choose from, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, a huge thanks to Western Haikus for coming in today on this Friday Arvo on Radioactive FM's Active Live, and a massive thanks to New Zealand On Air Music for making this possible. I've been Charlotte, and you've been tuned into Radioactive 88.6, and Western Haikus are gonna close us out with one last song.
Active Live. Friday, 3:30. Every week a new band. In studio. Brought to you by NZ On Air.